This video is about famous Hollywood celebrities and people who passed away from 1st to 5th of February 2023 in the United States. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. George P. Wilbur. He was born in March 1941 and he died in February 2023. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. George P. Wilbur was a prolific and respected American stuntman and actor. With a career spanning several decades, he was best known to horror fans for twice portraying the iconic slasher villain Michael Myers in the films Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. A member of the Hollywood Stuntmen's Hall of Fame, he performed dangerous stunts in hundreds of films and television shows. Chris Chesser. He was born in September 1948 and he died in February 2023. His age was 74 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Chris Chesser was an American film producer who was a key figure behind several popular films. He was best known as a producer of the classic 1989 baseball comedy Major League, a film that has remained an enduring fan favorite. His other producing credits include the Charlie Sheen action film The Chase and the family comedy Dunston Checks In. Butch Miles. He was born in July 1944 and he died in February 2023. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from a lung condition. Charles Butch Miles was a world-renowned and powerful American jazz drummer. He was best known for his long and explosive tenure with the legendary Count Basie Orchestra, where his dynamic, swinging style drove the band through the 1970s and again in the late 90s. A master of big band drumming, he also played with other jazz giants like Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra and led his own successful groups. Robert Orban. He was born in March 1927 and he died in February 2023. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Robert Orban was a highly influential and prolific American comedy writer and magician. He was a key figure in the post-war comedy boom, writing thousands of jokes for top comedians, and later served as the head of the speech writing department for President Gerald Ford. He was known as the Dean of Contemporary Comedy and was a revered joke writer for both entertainers and politicians for over 70 years. Arnold Schulman. He was born in August 1925 and he died in February 2023. His age was 97 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Arnold Schulman was an Oscar-nominated American screenwriter, producer, and author. He was best known for writing the screenplays for several acclaimed films, earning Academy Award nominations for Love with the Proper Stranger and Goodbye Columbus. A writer with a sharp and witty voice, he was a respected figure from a classic era of Hollywood filmmaking. Adrian Hall. He was born in December 1927 and he died in February 2023. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Adrian Hall was a visionary and highly influential American theater director. He was the founding artistic director for the Trinity Repertoire Company in Providence, Rhode Island, which he built into one of the nation's most respected regional theaters. He was known for his bold, experimental, and politically charged productions, and for his transformative impact on the American regional theater movement. Hank Beebe. He was born in July 1926 and he died in February 2023. His age was 96 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Henry Hank Beebe was an American composer for theater, television, and film. He was best known for composing the incidental music for the 1978 Pulitzer Prize-winning Broadway play, The Gin Game, starring Hugh Cronin and Jessica Tandy. He was a prolific composer who also wrote numerous jingles, choral works, and scores for animated television specials. Chris Brown. He was born in May 1952 and he died in February 2023. His age was 70 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from a long illness. Chris Brown was an American cartoonist who was best known for his long and successful tenure on the internationally syndicated comic strip Hagar the Horrible. He took over the strip from his father, its creator Dick Brown in 1988 and continued to write and draw the adventures of the bumbling Viking for over 3 decades. His work brought laughter to millions of newspaper readers around the world. Franklin Florence. He was born in August 1933 and he died in February 2023. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Franklin Florence was a prominent and influential civil rights leader from Rochester, New York. He was a key associate of Malcolm X and the founding president of the Rochester-based Black activist organization FIGHT. He was a fearless and uncompromising leader who fought for decades against racial injustice and for the economic and political empowerment of the Black community. N.J. Sargent. She was born in February 1932 and she died in February 2023. Her age was 90 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. N.J. Sargent was an Austrian-American author who became the last royal princess of Sepal, a Chan state in Burma. She married Chan Prince Sao Kya Sang, and her 1994 memoir, Twilight Over Burma, My Life as Chan Princes, chronicled their life together and his disappearance following the 1962 military coup. She later became a dedicated human rights activist and co-founder of the Burma Lifeline Foundation. Jack Taylor. He was born in December 1928 and he died in February 2023. His age was 94 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart failure. Jack Taylor was an American broadcaster who was the host of the Jack Taylor Show on 1220 WKRS radio in the Chicago area. His career in broadcasting began in the Armed Forces Radio, then took him to WINN in Louisville, Kentucky, and in 1950 to WCFL in Chicago. He moved to WBBM Radio Chicago in 1954 and then to his broadcast home for many years, WGN-TV, Chicago in 1958. Harry Whittington. He was born in March 1927 and he died in February 2023. His age was 95 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications of a fall. Harry Whittington was a successful Texas lawyer and real estate investor who gained international notoriety in 2006. He was the man who was accidentally shot by then Vice President Dick Cheney during a quail hunt in Texas. A respected and lifelong Republican, he was known for his quiet dignity and his refusal to place blame on the Vice President in the aftermath of the high-profile incident. Susan Duhan Felix. She was born in July 1937 and she died in February 2023. Her age was 85 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Susan Duhan Felix was a celebrated American ceramic artist and sculptor, affectionately known as the People's Potter of Berkeley, California. She was known for her whimsical and spiritual sculptures, particularly her menorahs and other Judaica. She was a longtime arts commissioner and a beloved figure in the Bay Area arts community, known for her dedication to public art and creative expression. Joan Oates. She was born in May 1928 and she died in February 2023. Her age was 94 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Dr. Joan Oates was a distinguished American-born British archaeologist who was a leading authority on ancient Mesopotamia. She was known for her major archaeological excavations at sites in Iraq and Syria, which provided profound insights into the origins of the agriculture and urban civilization. She was a respected scholar and a fellow of the British Academy. Lawrence M. McKenna. He was born in November 1933 and he died in February 2023. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Lawrence M. McKenna was a senior United States District Judge who served on the federal bench in New York for nearly 3 decades. Appointed by President George H.W. Bush, he was a highly respected jurist, known for his long and dedicated service to the judiciary. He presided over numerous significant cases during his tenure in the Southern District of New York. Jerry W. Tillman. He was born in October 1940 and he died in February 2023. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Jerry W. Tillman was a long-serving and influential Republican politician from North Carolina. He was a member of the North Carolina State Senate for 2 decades, where he was a key legislative leader and served as a Senate Majority Whip. He was a respected figure in the state politics, known for his work on education and fiscal policy. Irving Stern, he was born in November 1928 and he died in February 2023. His age was 94 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Irving Stern was an American politician in the state of Minnesota. He served in the Minnesota Senate from 1979 to 1982 as a Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party member, representing District 41. Stern previously served as mayor of St. Louis Park, Minnesota from 1977 to 1979. Joanne Brecker, she was born in May 1945 and she died in February 2023. Her age was 77 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Joanne Brecker was an American college basketball coach. Brecker taught basketball during the late 1960s before becoming the women's basketball coach for Midland University in 1970. With the Midland Warriors, Brecker appeared multiple times at the NAIA Women's Basketball Championships for Division I and Division II between 1980s to 2000s. Brecker's best performance with the team as head coach was a 4th-place finish at the 1985 Division I Championship. Don Bramlett, he was born in October 1962 and he died in February 2023. His age was 60 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Don Bramlett was an American professional football player who was a defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings in the National Football League (NFL). He played college football at University of Memphis. Roland Mullen, he was born in August 1940 and he died in February 2023. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Roland Mullen was an American sprint canoer who competed in the early to mid-1970s. Competing in 2 Summer Olympics, he earned his best finish of 6th in the C2 1,000-meter event at Munich in 1972. Stanley Wilson Jr. He was born in November 1982 and he died in February 2023. His age was 40 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from an illness. Stanley Wilson Jr. was a former professional football player who was a defensive back in the NFL, a former college star at Stanford. He was drafted by the Detroit Lions and played for the team for several seasons. His post-football life was marked by significant struggles with mental health and legal issues before his untimely death. Ron Campbell, he was born in April 1940 and he died in February 2023. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Ron Campbell was an American right-handed infielder in Major League Baseball for Chicago Cubs. Campbell was with the Cubs for 2 stints during the 1966 season, first from late June to mid-July and again from late August through the end of the season. He played both third base and shortstop during his time with the Cubs. Kenny J. He was born in March 1937 and he died in February 2023. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Kenny J. was an American professional wrestler who was a popular and beloved figure in the American Wrestling Association, known as a Sword Buster. He was a perennial fan favorite who, despite often being cast in the role of an underdog, was respected for his skill and sportsmanship. He was a fixture in the vibrant Minnesota wrestling scene for decades. Lenny Poffo, he was born in December 1954 and he died in February 2023. His age was 68 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was congestive heart failure. Lenny Poffo was a second-generation professional wrestler known for his agile, high-flying style and his charismatic persona. He was best known for his time in the World Wrestling Federation, first as Leaping Lenny Poffo, who read poems to the crowd, and later as the arrogant intellectual heel, the Genius. He was also the real-life younger brother of the legendary Macho Man, Randy Savage. James C. Wofford. He was born in November 1944 and he died in February 2023. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from pancreatic cancer. James Wofford was a legendary American equestrian, a key figure in the sport for three-day eventing. A two-time Olympian, he won 2 silver medals as a member of the United States team. After his competitive career, he became one of the most respected and influential coaches and authors in the sport, mentoring countless riders to national and international success. Marv Callum. He was born in June 1952 and he died in February 2023. His age was 70 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Marv Callum was a former professional football player who was a tight end in the NFL. He was a member of the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty of the 1970s, where he won 2 Super Bowl rings. He was a solid and dependable player known for his contributions on both offensive and special teams. Floyd Kerr. He was born in November 1946 and he died in February 2023. His age was 76 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Floyd Kerr was a respected American college athletics administrator. He served for many years as the athletic director at Morgan State University, where he was a dedicated leader and a strong advocate for the university's student athletes. He was a key figure in the world of HBCU athletics for many years. Pete Kugel. He was born in July 1947 and he died in February 2023. His age was 75 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Pete Kugel was a former Major League Baseball player who was a catcher and first baseman. He played for several teams, including the Milwaukee Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies. He was a respected veteran player, known for his solid skills and his professional approach to the game. Paul Martha. He was born in June 1942 and he died in February 2023. His age was 80 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from Alzheimer's disease. Paul Martha was a versatile American athlete, lawyer, and sports executive, a college football star at the University of Pittsburgh. He played professionally for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After earning a law degree during his playing career, he went on to a long and successful second career as an executive, serving as a general manager for the Pittsburgh Penguins and helping to build their first 2 Stanley Cup championship teams. Ron Tompkins. He was born in November 1944 and he died in February 2023. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Ron Tompkins was a former Major League Baseball pitcher who played for the Kansas City Athletics and the Chicago Cubs. A left-handed pitcher, he was a talented athlete who was a respected member of the baseball community. He was a profound representative of a classic era of the sport. He was notable for sharing the 1968 Topps rookie card alongside MLB Hall of Fame catcher Johnny Bench. Demetrius Caleb. He was born in November 1969 and he died in February 2023. His age was 53 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Demetrius Caleb was a former professional basketball player who was a key member of the University of Michigan basketball team. He was a starting guard and captain on the 1989 national championship team and was a respected veteran leader for the program during the early days of the Fab Five era. He later had a brief career in the NBA and playing professionally overseas. Kay Vaughn. He was born in June 1931 and he died in February 2023. His age was 91 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Kay Vaughn was a legendary and dominant offensive lineman in the Canadian Football League, a perennial all-star for the Ottawa Rough Riders. He won 2 Grey Cup championships and was named the CFL's most outstanding lineman. He was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame for his incredible career and is regarded as one of the best linemen in league history. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.